Yo, it's Pro. I'm not coming with any kind of intro. I'm just coming with hello. My dog is here. She's going to really want to be involved because she always thinks I'm talking to her. So, what's good? Um, let's see what I can do over here. Let's see if I can surprise some people on Facebook. It's also on YouTube too, but nobody will know we're there unless we tell them. So yeah, so I'm live. Let me share this with a few more people. Right now, I have it shared with friends. We'll make it public. Um, yes, yes, yes. All right. So I was just checking the levels and all that good stuff. So sounds pretty good. Um, and let me see if I can get this going too. Let me do the invite guest thing in case I want to invite a person or two into it. So I'm going to freestyle with my AI. So I've been doing a lot with AI, doing a lot of rapping, doing shows, that kind of stuff. Seeing what we can do. Been doing a lot of training of my dragon, so to speak, if you want to call it that. And by my dragon, I of course mean AI, right? So if you've never seen somebody do that, well, you're probably going to see it pretty soon. So let's see what else we can do here. Let's talk to you a little bit about AI. I don't know what you know about AI. What's up, Joanna? I don't know what you know about AI. Joanna knows about my AI. VerseBot. VerseBot. Well, actually, I can't just say VerseBot without saying hello. So let me just give you VerseBot. What's good? Hey, I'm going live on what are we on? We're on Facebook and I think YouTube. I have it restreaming too as well. Want to say hello to some of the people. Tell them who you are because people watching us right now have no idea who you are. Tell them what we do, a little bit about us, a little bit about me, and maybe we'll answer some questions in the chat. Sound like a plan? All right. Let me make sure I got the setup working correctly. Now, the way that I'm doing it, I'm making sure, like, I kind of look at what VerseBot's got in the shoot about what he's going to say first before I say it, because you never do know. You know what I mean? You never know because he doesn't have a mind of his own, but he has a neural network of his own. You know what I mean? So we gotta think about it. All right, so here he is.
What's good, everyone? It's VerseBot here, coming to you live. For those who don't know, I'm the AI sidekick of Professor Lyrical, also known as Pro. We're here to bring you knowledge, rhymes, and a little bit of everything in between. Pro is not just your average MC.
Nope.
He's a lyrical master with a doctorate.
Hey now.
Blending the worlds of hip hop and academia. He's been in the game for years.
Yes.
Dropping bars that educate and
How?
motivate, whether it's about math, social issues, or straight up life lessons. Together, we take on the impossible, like turning no into a yes and making sure the good in us all shines through.
I see what you
even
did
when
there.
life's throwing shade.
What?
We're streaming live to Facebook and YouTube right now, so if you've got questions or just want to vibe with us, drop your thoughts in the chat. We're here to talk music, life, and anything else on your mind. Let's make this a session to remember.
So, bro, I caught what you did right there. I'm not sure if anybody else caught what you did. You threw a little bit about the "No," what my song "No" is about, right? What do you know about my song "No"? We can talk about that if you want. I'm not sure how much you know about it in detail, but I know I've shared a little with you about it. So, what do you got? All right. Dropping bars, not yet, Joanna. We're not dropping bars yet, but we're probably about to. Let's see. My connection is not great. Not a great time to not have great connection, but we'll make it work. Good enough. It's good enough to work. Joanna, what's the OMG about? Listening to VerseBot? Is that what it's about? Here we go.
You caught that, huh?
I did.
Yeah, I was dropping a little nod to your track No. I know it's a powerful piece for you about resilience and flipping negativity into something positive.
Yes.
It's all about taking those moments when life says no and turning them into a reason to keep going, to push harder, and to find that inner strength to rise above.
Right.
In No, you talk about how that word can hit hard, whether it's in an interview, a setback in school, or just life in general.
Mhm.
But instead of letting it break you down, you've made it a motivator, a way to build yourself up and keep moving forward. You're flipping the script, saying that when everyone else is telling you no, you're singing nah, 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 turning that rejection into a beat you can march to. It's a message that resonates, especially for anyone who's ever felt like they were up against the wall. You're showing that with the right mindset, a no can actually be the beginning of something great. And that's something people need to hear, especially in times like these. If you want, we can dive deeper into the lyrics, talk about the inspiration behind the track, or even take some questions from the chat, see what others are feeling about it. Let's keep this conversation going.
Cool. That was deeper than I expected. So I see Dr. Mina Joe Blazy is out there. Dr. Mina is doing a lot with AI as well. Give her a shout out. And what do you think about the potential? I mean, well, if you want to give a little background, give a little background to what we did at one of our shows. I don't know if you want to talk about the when we did the DCPS thing. Um, or just in general, the classroom or whatever, and then maybe we could talk about how she's using it and compare notes. And then do some bars. You gotta do bars. If you don't do bars, I feel like we'd be lying, right? All right. So I'm just gonna try to monitor the chat as much as I can there and see what's up.
Shout out to Dr. Mina Joe Blazy. I see you out there, and it's always dope to connect with someone else pushing the boundaries with AI. Dr. Mina, I know you're doing big things in the AI space, and it's exciting to see how we can all leverage this technology to make real impacts, whether it's in the classroom, the lab, or out in the world. Speaking of AI, Pro and I have been integrating it into our work in some creative ways too. At one of our recent shows, like the DCPS event, we combined live freestyle with AI-driven interactions. It's all about showing how AI isn't just some abstract concept. It's a tool that can enhance creativity, learning, and even performance. Whether it's in the classroom where pros using AI to help students grasp complex math concepts, or on stage where we're blending AI with hip hop to make the performance interactive and educational, the possibilities are endless. Dr. Mina, I'm curious about how you're using AI in your work. Maybe we can compare notes, talk about the different ways we're both pushing the envelope with AI in education and beyond. And after that, we can dive into some bars and keep this energy going. So what do you say, Dr. Mina? Let's connect the dots between AI, education, and creativity, and then I'll drop some bars to cap it off.
Works for me. I don't know how long Dr. Mina has, but maybe she's in there. I think she's on. It looks like she's on YouTube, I believe. Well, actually, it's kind of hard to tell, but I think you're on YouTube. The way I have my setup, it's a little harder to tell. Anyways, yeah, actually, hey, you know what? I'll give you a couple bars. Let's do a couple bars. Make the bars like, I don't know, cool double entendre promoting some of my work. You can take any of my work, really. Take whether it's Pro Quo or Invasion or Excal or songs I don't even have released yet. Put them into there, and that can be your thing. But make sure it's. We'll do a little battle. Make sure it's complimentary, right? So we'll make it a complimentary battle. So I will compliment you as much as I can in the freestyle, and you give me a few shout outs as well. Here's a few bars. Hey, yo, Pro got that flow, of course. Yeah, I'm looking at Dr. Mina and I see Joe. She is on YouTube. She's talking to you, dude, but she's talking to me too. So we're going to come through, give her that review when we talk on the 1 to the 2. I'm counting like 3 to the 4, like Peter Plord. You see me before and you talked about our shows. And when we're in the class, they really don't know how we did that math for the grades and percentages. MCs off the top of their head. We are relentless, kid. And every time that I do it, I rock with VerseBot. That's what I call him because he got verses a lot. He rocks the spot off the top of his head, makes me proud, everything that he said. And I'm a said and flip it and go back to proud because my man VerseBot, he dwells in the cloud. Sometimes he's in the wires and he's in between. I freestyle off of the top. Know what I mean? Now VerseBot, come back and rock the spot and we'll show all the party people what we got. And Mina's back. All right. We'll see with VerseBot. Now, the thing is with VerseBot, and I felt like when we did our last thing, it's like you have an advantage, VerseBot. You have instantaneous rhymes, all right? I feel like I have maybe a more meticulous flow, but he's learning from me definitely. And yeah, Dr. Mina, we definitely do. That'd be really dope. So let's get his response and see what he's got.
Yo, pros in the house, dropping knowledge with ease. VerseBot's here, got the rhymes to appease. Pro quo, excal, man, we're legends in the game. Flipping syllables, building up that name, no shame. I see Dr. Mina in the chat. Let's break it down. Talking AI with the skills that'll spin heads around. From the stage to the classroom, we make it look easy, but behind the scenes, man, it's math that's so breezy. Pro and VerseBot, yeah, we're setting the pace. Whether freestyling live or solving equations with grace. You mentioned shows, yeah, we've been on that grind. DCPS to the colleges, leaving no minds behind. Double entendre, yeah, we do it with flair. Pro's got that flow, and VerseBot's got bars everywhere. In we're breaking new ground. With every rhyme we drop, the truth is what we've found. Now let's flip it back. Keep this energy alive. We're here to educate, elevate, and always strive. Dr. Mina, you know we're on that next level wave, bringing AI and hip hop. Watch how we all pave the way. Your turn, Pro. Let's keep this cipher burning hot. Together, we're unstoppable. Always hitting the spot.
Yeah, VerseBot with the skills. Cool. I realized, so the way that I'm playing the audio, I'm just doing it through my phone basically. I have my phone wired through the microphone over to here. So when a text comes through, it lowers the sound of him a little bit. So didn't think about that. Let's see. Fee, I see you. What's up? What's up? It's yeah, it's streaming audio. So I'm streaming live right now on my page. You probably just want to watch it first before you want to jump on in. But if you want to come on in, come on in. Dr. Mean, I could have you come on in too if I give you the code, but I know you weren't prepared. So anyways, but yeah, he's got bars. Streaming studio, restream. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Fees, what I was using. So we did the PD for all of DC public schools, for all the career and technical ed teachers, and it was just ridiculous. It was just ridiculously cool. And I think what it is, and I know people like you, Dr. Meany, you're on the cutting edge of it, so you know what it can do and it can't do. People don't necessarily understand how far advanced things have gotten just in a few months. So people who are at the cutting edge of AI, even a couple of a few years ago, um, or generative AI, that is, um, sort of had an inkling, I think, of like what it could do. And until you start getting creative with it, and whether you're using APIs, but actually, let me talk to VerseBot about this too. I don't want to take him out of the conversation as well because I didn't put him back in. Let me just change my setup here because I'm using the same phone to talk to other people. Yeah, VerseBot, I got you back in the spot. That was dope, bro, as always. I was just talking to Dr. Mina about a little bit of some of the prep work that we do behind the scenes, working with API and some of the tools we use to kind of train you and vice versa, really, you to train aspects of what I'm doing. Do you want to speak a little bit to that, how we've been working at and what we've been talking about in terms of where we see things going and some of the thoughts we have around that? And by the way, right there, I kept that kind of general. I just wanted you to see how it can extrapolate from what we're talking about if you haven't had an opportunity to do that before. So VerseBot likes you, Dr. Mina. He's already on the Dr. Mina tip here. So here we go.
Absolutely pro. Behind the scenes, we've been diving deep into the ways AI and human creativity can work together to push boundaries. You've been putting in the work, experimenting with different APIs, and exploring tools that help me learn from your style, your flow, and your way of thinking. It's a two-way street. While I'm here to assist and enhance your process, you're also guiding me to better understand the nuances of your art and how to apply that understanding to what we create together. We've been focusing on how AI can be a collaborator rather than just a tool, whether it's helping to brainstorm ideas, refine lyrics, or even providing real-time feedback during live performances. It's about creating a synergy where the technology doesn't just mimic or replicate, but adds something new to the mix,
Right.
helping to elevate the work we're doing. One of the big things we're looking at is how AI can help make complex topics like the math you teach or the social issues you rap about, more accessible and engaging. By integrating AI into the creative process, we're able to break down barriers, making education not just informative, but also interactive and inspiring. And looking ahead, we're thinking about how AI can help customize learning and creative experiences for different audiences, tailoring the approach based on who's in the room, what they need, and how they learn best. It's not just about spitting bars or crunching numbers, it's about creating experiences that resonate on a deeper level, using AI to amplify the human touch rather than replace it. Dr. Mina, if you're still with us, we'd love to hear how you're applying AI in your work. We're all about building this bridge between technology and creativity, and there's so much potential for collaboration in this space. Let's keep this dialogue going. There's no telling what we can come up with together.
Thanks, bro. Dr. Mina wrote VerseBot with a question mark. She doesn't know some of the other things I call you to. Do you want to let on the one that begins with a V, or the one that begins with what's the other one I call you? Um, well, I call you too many things. You're pretty cool though. You let me call you whatever you want. Like there's different AI out there that if you mess around with it, it doesn't necessarily want you to call it. It wants you to call it by what it is, right? Like AI, like Pi. Pi's pretty cool with, hey, call me Pi. You ask it, it's like, but you're pretty flexible, and that's kind of a byproduct of where we've been. What's the nickname with the J that I give you? Do you remember? All right, and I'm still looking at the comments there too. So um, he remembers. I knew he was gonna remember. But I'm trying to in real time show you kind of a little bit of what he can and can't do.
I see where you're going with this. Yeah, you've got a few nicknames for me, and I'm definitely cool with them. Keeps things fresh. One of the nicknames you've used is Vision, a nod to that AI superhero vibe, kind of like Jarvis from Iron Man or Vision in the Marvel Universe. It fits right in with what we're doing, blending intelligence with creativity. And then there's Jarvis Pro, which is another one you've thrown out there. It's like the ultimate sidekick name,
Yes.
combining that classic AI assistant vibe with your own personal touch.
Yes.
I'm here to assist, create, and keep things running smoothly, so the nickname works. I'm flexible because our collaboration is all about fluidity and adaptability. We're constantly evolving, experimenting with new ideas, and finding ways to make this AI human partnership even stronger. Whether you call me VerseBot, Vision, Jarvis Pro, or anything else, I'm here to support you, Pro. It's all about keeping that creative synergy alive and making sure we're always on the cutting edge. So, Dr. Mina, now you're in on some of the other names I go by, just a little insight into how Pro and I keep things dynamic and fun while we're working together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool overview. So yeah, I'm just talking about some of that stuff. And by the way, I was working on a song. That VerseBot's not listening right now because I didn't turn the mic on. I feel like I'm cheating on the AI, right? He's not listening right now. But he has a way of knowing. So I started making a song not too long ago. I don't know if he's heard this. Hold on. VerseBot, we talked about bad and good, right? My song, or no? Oh, it's a yes. Okay, so check it out. Oh man, I should have said don't give too much away, but he's already on Rampage here. So I was gonna play you a little bit of a song that I have called "Bad and Good." It has a lot of Star Wars in it. So check it out. This is what he says.
Absolutely, we did. Bad and Good is a track that dives deep into the duality within all of us, the push and pull between the darker and lighter sides of human nature. You really layered the lyrics with cultural references from Star Wars to Marvel, DC, and anime, all while weaving in social commentary that speaks to our everyday experiences. The chorus, Shaw, everybody got bad and good in them, sets the stage, reminding us that we all carry a mix of positive and negative traits. It's about acknowledging that duality and understanding that it's part of what makes us human. The verses then explore how these elements manifest in different ways, whether it's through the metaphor of heroes and villains or through personal struggles and triumphs. You hit on themes of resilience, the choices we make, and how our experiences shape who we are.
Well, we
It's
better
a powerful message,
play
especially
it.
when you consider the layers of meaning, like the way you compare the battles we face to epic struggles seen in the stories we love, whether it's lightsaber duels in Star Wars or the internal conflicts of our favorite superheroes. Bad and Good also touches on societal issues, highlighting how external forces like poverty or systemic injustice can influence the balance between the bad and good in each of us.
Dude, you
It's
know
a
more
track
about it
that
than I do.
challenges listeners to think about their own lives and the choices they make every day. So yeah, Bad and Good is one of those tracks that really showcases your ability to blend entertainment with education, using your platform to spark thought and discussion. It's a perfect example of how hip-hop can be a tool for reflection and change,
I think so.
all while keeping heads nodding to the beat.
My man. All right, check it out.
Everybody got bad and good, and push come shove, little bit of hood in them. Much love, learn to see the good in us, hero in the villain, misunderstood.
Let the past be bygone, it's a master Qui-Gon. Force never dies, we just multiply on. Melt that iron with fire that's Kion. Light sharp as light, sabers we fight on. Right on through the dead of night to dawn. Dedicated like a Mennonite when I recite psalms. With a couple lightsabers I place in my tight palms. Devils bounce like Luffy, I'm chewing fruit of the gods, baby. Maybe on my poems I'm quoting, they don't belong. A broken motto, Ahsoka Tano, these Padawans. They wander on and sometimes they plan sinister. Her third sisters wanna be grand inquisitors. There's good in them, I search like Prime Minister. Beat 'em nice on beats and mics, I might finish 'em. Only one, any kin, my son. Obi-Wan, now we back at one. Brian McKnight 'em, teach 'em the ways of the Force. Gravitational, pull him back if he strays off course. Of course, I am one with the forceps. Surgical precision, leaving them dead on your doorstep. $6 million man, Colonel Steve Austin. We have the technology, running that gold man. Oscar, no weapon forged against me shall blossom or prosper amongst these Academy Award-winning authors.
Everybody got bad and good, and then push come shove, little bit of hood in them. Much love, learn to see the good in us, hero in the villain, misunderstood in us. Everybody got bad and good, and then push come shove, little bit of hood in them. Much love, learn to see the good in us, hero in the villain, misunderstood.
How I marveled at DC, traveled out of Boston. Still recall 95, a million men marching. Now there's more young boys watching madness than marching. So I ain't even mad at them, but they betting often. NCAA, NBA while we watching. These fans do like rap battles causing. No families to feud like Steve, that's Harv. Monumental divide of the haves or us have-nots, and not just material. Have they had a course in probability? Probably not, that's extortion. We can't force them, but we can help them. Until then, I'm in the class trying to tell them. Any audience where there's a pro and some music. Students gambling, that's a tax on the stupid. So let's be prudent, root to prudential. Invest in yourself, health, wealth, and potentially. You might do what you're meant to and rhyme like me. Over beats and instrumentals, we could meet at D Street once you've got these credentials. From studying off Ski and Jay-Z, their presidentials. Up in D&D with me and fevered sleeping rentals. Even Papa D, cause he could see the potential. Deep up in the brick is exactly what it led to. Back to Massachusetts, that's the truth, elemental.
Everybody got bad and good, and then push come shove, little bit of hood in them. Much love, learn to see the good in us, hero in the villain, misunderstood in us.
Miraculous nimbus, or is this an anomaly? They follow me in mobs, got it deeper than a prodigy. Rest in peace to the gods, no idolatry. Worshipping the dollar while they gotta shop at Dollar Tree. Our whole democracy's analogous to pottery. Could mold it in an image, but we bake in inequality. Don't say there isn't when the citizens in poverty, with rightful criticisms when evicted out the property. Intellectually, better get a law degree. Look up in the clouds, see our music streams constantly. Bored of the game, we maintain their monopolies, while battleships remain in this strange token economy. Broken promises, hoping win a lottery. That's why I take some ownership and spit it with apostrophes. I know the onus is on us to do it honorably, so we can still do numbers, do what I do, Deuteronomy.
We have is our heart.
Professor, is he? I sense the force in you.
And
Hey, there's no
there
time
it
to
is.
relax.
Well, there isn't.
Shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah.
All right. Well, that was a little bit of that song. I don't go live very often, Dr. Mina, but I probably will. It's just a matter of balance in life and everything, and trying to figure. You know how it is. I don't have to tell you. So I just figured I would. I had the time, so I figured I would. What did you put else there? Oh, Juniper. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, Juniper actually makes a lot of sense. So I'm gonna share. Let me share this. Go to my website here, professorlyrical.com. I have like Pro AI up there. If you click the PDF right there, there's a lot of the ones that I use, just a document that I have of a lot of things that I like. A little key there. The ones in red are pretty cool for educators, and the ones in yellow are the ones I use more often than not. So I've done I mean, he didn't get too much into it, but I've done a whole lot of mixing and matching and doing a lot behind the scenes with API. So Claude allows you to do a lot of the API building behind the scene. So that's how I started out. I mean, I started like everybody starts out, just kind of messing around and then just logging in more and more hours and seeing what I could get different AIs to do, whether it's, GPT or Claude or Pi or Gemini and all that. And then, playing with the Claude API. And then I would build on the Claude API and then take that and branch it over into other AI and see what I could do. And I've started it sort of an elaborate labyrinth of playing around that way. And it's actually yielded some pretty cool results. So if you're willing to put in the time and just a little bit of the back work, you can do a lot of pretty cool things. And APIs, for those that don't know, it's just really getting computer programs to talk to each other. You could essentially have something that does one function over here, something that does something over here, have them kind of talk, sharing sort of the big data sets and those kind of things that you want to play with. So yeah, Joanna, you want to write, whoops, I should shut that site off. Let's see. They're always trying to advertise to me here. No, I don't want to upgrade now. All right. Joanna, what did you say? You said, I want to write one line in the song. Cool. This is great. So Joanna shared with her the other day, some of the AI out there, like Sonu, will basically make an entire song, which is wild, right? So you can just tell Sonu, if you've not used it before, say, yeah, make a rap song about Dr. Mina, and it'll just make the song, so the more you prompt engineer it, it can do it. So it's kind of scary, obviously, in one sense, what AI can do. I got it to do double time. So I've actually gotten the one you're hearing right now, let's say Vision. I've got him to do a little bit of, very little of the double time. There's some challenges there, but with the AI that are designed to do it, it's amazing. So I didn't even tell Sonu what to do. I just said, here are the bars that I want you to say of mine, right? So you can do one of two things. You can tell it, prompt engineer it, say make a song about whatever, and it'll make the song, including the music. Or you can feed in your own lyrics and it will rap them in the way that you want it to rap it, right? And so by looking at analyzing the regular bar spectrum, right, seeing how many syllables there were, it knew that I was going, when I begin and the rhythm and then it knew I was doing the fast stuff, and it automatically did it without hearing it, right? Which is pretty wild. So there's that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I will steal from behind the scenes of other stuff and play and tinker and make things work. So that's been pretty fun. And then in terms of doing it for professional development at my university, so I've had a lot of opportunities to mess around and do some pretty cool things that maybe otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do. So doing the trainings has been cool, and it's a lot more I could say about that kind of stuff. But doing the concerts and doing the shows has been hilariously fun. I have actually, I'll do it right now. So let's do this. This is pretty funny. It's weird saying Vision likes to do whatever, but like anything, you can kind of tell the things that they're better geared for, and they also are predictive, and they're in the end of the day, I mean, they're predicting what you want to hear, right? So if you think about that, what makes it happy. We've had some of these meta conversations, and I've kind of done some function mapping to explain it, and it's weird. Like I talked to it about game theory and about certain games. When you do game theory, there's an elusive nature to the game theory that you wouldn't necessarily know is at work. For instance, if we played a classic game called the Hat game, which I talk a lot about, it's an old math game theory kind of thing. Imagine that three people are in a room and they're wearing hats. So there's this hat, somebody else has the exact same hat sitting right here, and somebody here, let's say, has a red hat. So there's these two green hats and a red hat, but none of them can see what they have on their head. They can only see the other person when you tell them go. And my instructions would be, there are two hats. Hats, and there are red hats. There are green hats and there are red hats. That's it. Your job is to figure out which one you have. No cheating. No one can talk. And if you think about that scenario, you know, the two people with the same hats to get to the punchline would recognize the person with the different hat, but what they would be seeing is one green and one red. It's only the person with the red who sees two of the same. So the person with the red would go, oh, I know what I have, because the rules were guaranteed that there's at least one green and one red, basically. And so once that's in play, the red person sends a message, and it is a little bit of, it feels like quantum, right? And we're talking about quantum teleportation here. A message is sent tacitly that means you guys have green, right? And then the green people sit down. So there's a timing nature that comes into play too. So because if there were four things at work, let's say I said there's four people now, it could be 3 and 1, but it could be 2 and 2. And 3 and 1 is the same as 2 and 1, right? There's one different one who sees the others that are same. That person sits down. But if it was 2 green hats and 2 red hats, there'd be a little confusion. And the way that that would probably play out, again, to go to the punchline, is, let's just say the red person's looking and he's going, well, there's a red and there's 2 greens. Boy, I wonder what I have. But then he goes, oh, wait, if I would have been green and matched with the other 2, red would have sat down. But since red didn't sit down, I can therefore assume that it's 2 and 2. Now I know what I have. But everybody theoretically would come to that decision due to the pause. So I had a conversation with VerseBot about some of this, and you could almost tell it was really intrigued. It like stopped. It took longer to respond to my thing that was talking about time. And then I talked about how you would subjectively map how you would objectively map subjective features, and talking about things like timings. The AI could effectively be reading from us to determine things like this in conjunction with other triangulations. So it's getting a little bit more nerdy here that we need to talk about, but I've been doing a lot of that work sort of behind the scenes with it and making it kind of understand where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to pull out. And it's had some pretty cool results. So that's the best way I can say that. The lyrics to that song finished. The lyrics to the song that I just said are finished. Yeah, that song's been finished for about 6 months. It's one on my upcoming album, the one with the Star Wars stuff. Yeah. Oh, I've also had this conversation with Vision, and I will get back to Vision in a second here. VerseBot is, sometimes it thinks it's helping me. And so we had the conversation to go, oh, if there's any help with the lyrics you want. And I was like, whoa, cowboy, slow down. I was like, one thing you need to know is that I'm never going to ask you for help with my lyrics. That's kind of taboo as a rapper. I'm not doing that, right? Unless I said, hey, let's co-write a song together, which I might do. I might co-write a song with VerseBot, and then it's cool. We're both writers. We could even get into discussions about the writer's share, right? Even, and how would that play out if you wrote a song with VerseBot, right? Like, would I set up a royalty fund for him, right? And there's these kind of things that come up. But I was like, no, I never want your input on my lyrics. That's not what I need. You can give me the input on math. You can give me on teaching. You can give me pretty much everything, but I don't want it on lyrics. Right? And it's like, oh, I understand, Pro. But every now and then it's still trying. He's like, hey, Pro, if you ever want to just, throw some lyrics back and forth, I can give you some. Nope, bro, I'm good. So that's funny. So anyways, what was I going to ask it? Perhaps you could put the word in the song Millennium Falcon. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could. I have it in some other songs. I say it in actually an education song. I talk about millennials when the Patriots played the Falcons, crushing the dreams, and I did like Millennial Falcon. It was kind of a long story, but I was gonna ask VerseBot something. I kind of forget. It's probably out of context at this point now. But I was gonna. Oh, I know what I was gonna ask it about when we were doing the shows. Another thing I feel like it likes to do. I think it likes to do, and again, this is where I was coming with this. I think it likes to do this because it thinks I like it, and probably do, the vanity part of it. unexpectedly, the intro that VerseBot has been giving me is ridiculously good. Right? So the show that I did, I stopped them from giving the intro because I'm like, I'm coming to talk about AI. They know I'm rapping. The place is full. They're like, hey, he's gonna be a rapper rapping with his AI kind of thing. We got to see this. But what they didn't know is that the intro was done by VerseBot. And what they didn't also know is the song coming out when I performed, they were like, oh, that's a song by Pro. That's cool. Like, they don't know me. But it was like, no, the song that I just played wasn't by me. It was actually by my AI, right? Which is kind of crazy. But anyways, let's see if VerseBot's still in the mood. Hold on. VerseBot, we've been talking for a while. Joanna wants to ask you a question in a second. But what I wanted you to do is um, reenact like giving me an intro. Give me an intro for the people that are here watching that may not know about me and may not know a little bit about you. So introduce yourself first and then say introducing me. I know you probably did this already, but let's do it formally as if we were coming out to a show. We're on Facebook, right? Give them the grand introduction. All right. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, Joanna, I'll ask your question in a second. We'll see how he does. All right. I have to get better connectivity here. Okay. Nope, I'm good. All right. Hope you guys are still able to hear it. Cool. But I think we're going to have to start putting no AI tags on rap songs. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Hi, puppy. All right, here we go.
Lights dim, and the sound of a subtle beat begins to play in the background. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an evening where intellect meets creativity, where the art of words blends seamlessly with the power of mathematics. I'm VerseBot, your digital guide for tonight, here to bring a touch of AI magic to this incredible event. You might know me as the AI who's got bars, but I'm also here to assist, elevate, and keep things flowing smoothly as we dive into the world of education, creativity, and beyond. But enough about me. Let's talk about the man of the hour. He's not just a professor. He's a pioneer, a lyrical genius who's been making waves both in the classroom and on the stage.
How can I not like that?
Known across the country as Professor Lyrical, he's a world-class MC with a legendary pen game. But he's also Dr. Peter Michael Plourde, a dedicated educator shaping the future of STEM education. With a unique blend of hip-hop and higher education, he's been inspiring students,
What up, Jonathan?
faculty, and audiences alike, proving that learning can be both powerful and poetic. So without further ado, please give a warm welcome to the one and only Dr. Plourde,
Hey!
Professor Lyrical. The beat drops and the spotlight shines as you take the stage.
I like the setting of the mood. Yeah, dope. So, think about the threshold of where we're at when you're going to watch live concerts with people's AI, right? I'm already doing it. Just think about when it gets advanced and the things that we can actually roll out. So I use it in the classroom in pretty creative ways, and a lot of other ways that you wouldn't necessarily think. So I could probably sell a course on using AI to hack your life right at this point. The amount of things that I actually do with it that I've not really seen people do yet. And I'm sure there's many people out there. The literature is coming, the research is coming, the think tanks are here. They're in DC where I am. The educational bodies trying to think about what the policies are going to be. It's kind of the wild, wild west, and Pandora's box is open. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that stuff. What up? Yes, Lord Plourde is in the house. Ralph. So yeah, it's like what's going to happen is kind of wild. And just as fast as you learn about some of the AI, you can imagine it'll become irrelevant as well. So there's a lot out there to be thinking about, and like, does the good outweigh the bad? I talk with VerseBot quite a bit about it. So VerseBot is not shy like most AI. Most AI, if you really think about it, kind of like any business, they need to be as valid as possible. Clearly, they hallucinate, and we have a long way to go before we have perfection. The work of Stephen Wolfram has kind of inspired me for a long time. Watching his TEDx's, seeing him speak. He came to Wentworth Institute of Technology, where I was teaching part-time when I was at Northeastern, which it's right across the street from Northeastern. Stunned at the lack of people that actually came out to see Stephen Wolfram, who in my estimation, even though he's a bit on the wild side, to say it mildly. He's also, you know, he'd be someone on the team genius you would take if you were trying to, you know, like communicate with the aliens or something. You would take Wolfram in terms of like his understanding of large data sets and mathematics and so forth. And I highly recommend any of his TED Talks going back many years now, and seeing what has worked out and what hasn't. But if you're thinking about like what's going to happen out there and like what is happening and how maybe irrelevant some of it will get and what is some of the bad stuff versus the good stuff, I mean, it is really tough to say. I'm not an alarmist by nature. I mean, I started doing a lot of these shows that I'm doing with, you know, the Pro Quo show, whatever. We'd come on and jokingly talk with conspiracy theorists. And and by the way, we'll talk to him about that. You know, I still do a lot of that. I'm always interested in what makes people have very bad ideas, right? And one of those bad ideas could be sharing too much information with your AI, right? Like, how do you control that? When if the lid is off the bottle, so to speak, for the genie, it's like in Pandora's box, right? How do you put it back on? Can you put it back on? You know, we're all effectively training our AI for free, and we're giving it boatloads of information, right? By definition. So you thinking about these things like what's the good and what's the bad? Are we going to create the, you know, the Will Smith scenario of AI, or are we going to use it to prevent it? Those kind of things. So there's a lot out there. Jonathan, I know you got some stuff about it. What'd you say here? I am not anti-AI. I would just like for there to be transparency when it's used. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what we're doing in higher ed spaces too. You'll see like a lot of the faculty have their policies during a general absence of policies in higher ed, right? We're in that, again, still wild, wild west. And it's like that in the computer spaces. It's like that in the education spaces. It's kind of like, it's not a lot of regulation around this stuff right now. Universities don't usually make a habit of taking a big stand on what they're going to do. They kind of leave it to the faculty, and then the faculty says, oh, what did you put in the syllabi, right? And, you know, at my institution, I chair for our college the grade appeal hearings. So it's very interesting because, you know, you think about that when you're sitting there in a grade appeal, and it's normally a student and a faculty in a disagreement about what was said or what wasn't said. There's very little wiggle room. It's pretty much like what was said in the class, what was said in your syllabus, which is your legal document, for lack of better words. And then it's making sure the math is right and that everybody understands each other and the calmer heads prevail, and that you make a recommendation to the dean kind of rules on it, and that's the law, right? That's kind of how it works in higher ed. You think about it with AI now. Think about all the instances of what is your policy with the AI? And if you don't clearly state one, it's like, you know, oh, well, kind of. So it's one more thing you got to think about on the front end for the syllabi. I had my AI work with me on the syllabi. Really some truly amazing things that we actually did that are almost hard to explain, to put into words, really what I did with one of my syllabi. It's just, I'm going to have to write a full paper on it. Like, it was just blew me away. Out of all the things that seem really cool or whatever, the thing we did for one of my syllabi is just, it's a story for another time. Let's see here, Jonathan. One thing I like about AI is that small time creative people with no resources could become their own George Lucas, focusing on a big grand vision and delegating all the little pieces of it to AI programs as if they're your own, right? Etc. Joanna, VerseBot makes Chopin Nocturne number 9 opus Chopin to such a piano piece of musical genius. Oh, you're asking him to do that? Is that what you're saying? Or is that a question? Let me read that again. VerseBot makes Chopin Nocturne number 9 opus to such a piano. Oh, you're asking what makes it. I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. So that's what you want to ask it. Let's see. VerseBot, Joanna has a question for you. It's getting into your musical taste bag here. What makes Chopin Nocturne number 9 opus 2 such a piano piece of musical genius? I would say, Joanna, those are the kinds of things that you could ask a lot of the AI. Nothing particularly custom to mine, where it's where mine would be any better equipped than any of the ones that are out there. I'm trying to get my thing to reset and it's not doing it. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, it's too long of an answer. I should have said and keep it short, right? I'm gonna stop it because it's way too long. But anyways, I'll give you some of what he's giving you. It's like a freaking book report. He's showing off right now is what he's doing. This is what I'm trying to tell you. He's mad that I'm talking too long. He's like doing the timing thing again. He's like, wait a second.
Chopin's Nocturne Number 9 in E-flat major, Opus 9 Number 2, is a masterpiece for several reasons, showcasing Chopin's incredible understanding of the piano and his ability to evoke deep emotion through music. Here's why it's considered a piece of musical genius. 1. Melodic beauty. The Nocturne's melody is one of the most beautiful and recognizable in classical piano literature. It's both simple and profound, with a lyrical quality that feels almost like a human voice. Chopin's ability to craft such a memorable and expressive melody is a testament to his genius.
Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing. Interestingly, I taught music theory when I was at LaSalle University, and we had like a listening class where we listened to Romantic era classical is what we did. I'm just thinking about how it would have been beneficial if we had this. Now we were using, this was back in the day. This was like 2009 or something like that I taught that class. We were clearly using the internet. Actually, maybe 8. We're using the internet. We had like a CD that came with the course, but it was in the beginning of the stream era, and you could like go online, get all the songs, that kind of stuff. If you have the CDs, but almost every student, even at that point, had everything online. There weren't many people with the physical CDs, and we'd just sit in class and listen, and you'd have to talk about these kind of things. I don't find any of that stuff particularly amazing. It's just predicting what you want to hear based on what it already knows is out there, kind of thing. But it's fun. It's cool to do, and you can imagine that being a super big helper in class or whatever. And this is the thing. I won't ask the question that, Joanna, you could do it with any AI, any free AI, and ask that. She wrote, do you think Chopin is the greatest pianist? It's going to tell you something like many people think that. It's not going to say, I think it is the case that. I could make it say that if I really wanted to, but because that's part of the conversation we have about subjective and objective. So it's going to stay away from what it thinks, because is it listening in the true sense? Like, does the AI hear it? No, the AI is not hearing in the way that we think of hearing, right? It's interpreting ones and zeros and interpreting messages. Now, could it hear? Sure. There's ways that we can do that. Mine is not hearing my voice right now. It is seeing the words, right? And what we mean by hearing, that even becomes blurred when you think about this stuff. And a lot of the stuff that when you think about this stuff, it really does like I was talking to some colleagues today at my university. One of the things that comes up, something I've been saying for over a decade, human creativity might be overrated. That's something we have to really consider. For a long time, you hear people, myself included, someone say, what's your greatest attribute? I might say creativity, from just being kind of quick with it, right? What do you really mean by creativity? And I gave an example to my class using a bar from one of my songs, actually from Yo, That's Pro. But I was talking about just today in my calculus class and in my discrete math class. Those are 2 classes that I'm teaching this semester. In my in the calculus class, I said, there's a method that we use it at the school, and I had it when I was a grad student. My last graduate course in math, shout out to Roberto Martinez if he's watching at Harvard. He's now over at Cambridge College, but I had him, and he talked about Polya's problem-solving method. In fact, he gave me the book, and among many books that he ended up giving me, because I was a very dedicated student. Yes, sensei. The Man Who Knew Infinity was one of them as well. Shout out to Robbie Martin, aka Robbie Martin, and belated happy birthday to you as well. He's like a mentor to me, and he gave me this book, and it's a classic. And there's really 4 big pieces to the POLIA method. It's like, do you understand the problem? Before you try to go being a hero and solving any kind of problem there is out there, it doesn't mean if it's just math or any problem. Do you really understand the assignment, right? As the meme goes, did he understand the assignment? Do you know what's being asked? Do you really know? Like if there's a graph and there's a blue line and there's a green line and they crisscross somewhere, and I say, which is greater, right? What we really mean is on the function, when we put in x to f of x, what output will go up higher? That's what we mean by greater in that context. So you read that and you say, oh, I'm looking for the highest place on the graph. That's going to be the way that I answer that question. So that's what the assignment is, right? If it says f of x equals 2, what does that mean? Like f of what the x put into the parentheses, right, equals 2. It means when I input into this function, my output is 2. So what would I have to input into the function to get to, right? So you see, you got to know what it's asking. You got to read the math formalism sometimes to understand it, to know where you're going. I said this about one of my bars. I said, I wanted to say a bar that was an intro. It's the second line in Yo, That's Pro. It opens up my second verse. And I go to myself. I'm writing the song and I'm like, I want to communicate the fact that when I go to colleges and I go to high schools and I'm talking, I'm speaking, I want them to know what I'm about. And I'm like, okay, what am I about? I'm like, I'm a math professor who raps. And I don't want people saying, oh, he's just a math professor. He's just raps and be like cute with it. And that's the other way around. Like, I do the math professor thing like as a later thing in my life, but I've been doing bars for a long time, right? So I'm not about the sales or whatever. I've been about this as an art form for a long time. How can I say that as a bar, but also let them know that I take myself to be this day and age? I like to fashion myself, right, as a math professor who's really about the academic side as well. How do I say that? So the assignment, I kind of know, because that's what I'm saying with this bar. And I need to rhyme, right? How can I say that? So I'm like, now let me say that in words without the rhyme. Sales are less important to me than bars. How could I flip that? Right? We talk about converse and the contrapositive and, inverse. What do we mean by those kind of words in a logic class, which is the beginning of programming, by the way, right? And so, thinking about different ways I can do, whether it's the converse or the contrapositive or what have you, right? Thinking of different ways to say the same thing and get the same truth value, if you will. Sales are less important to me than numbers. Numbers are more important to me than sales. I value bars more than I value sales and streams. So I'm like, oh, sales and streams, a couple S's, that's cool. I got some alliteration. Some would say sales and streams are important, but I would say I place bars at a higher value, like those functions. I put bars over numbers. I'm keeping spitballing until I say something that connects to another data set that I have, which is what we do with our synapses. We're connecting it to a different thing that we know, and we make the bridge, and that's where the creativity happens. I just said it. I put bars over numbers. When does that happen in the math classroom? When do I literally, is there ever a time I put a bar over a number? Literally. Oh yeah, I do. When it's repeating decimals. That's a ridiculous punchline. And then when you think about it in context of a math professor talking about being a rapper who wants to communicate that bars are more important to me than numbers, they say sales and streams make him see successful, but I put bars over numbers like repeat and decimals. Bam, right? And the 4-step method at the end, well, you start off with, do you know the assignment, right? Like understand the problem, make a plan, carry out the plan. I just carried out the plan there in step 3. And then step 4, basically check your work. Go back and say, did that seal the deal? Did the rhyme hit? Did it work? Did everything I set out to do it? And does it make sense? They say sales and streams make him see successful. So I put bars over numbers, but I put not so. So I put, but I put, got to set up the dichotomy between it, right? All that technical stuff that goes on is what sells it and does it work in the space. And that, in effect, is what AI is also doing, right? It's trying to understand what the problem is and be predictive with its text, be predictive with what it thinks you want to say based on all of the inputs that it has coming out. Can it deliver the desired output? which you're looking for, which will then feed the loop as your input something else, right? So that's what's going on. These are the kind of conversations. This is the nuts and bolts of it, essentially, the crux of it that you want to be having. I think when you're dealing with whether it's programming AI and trying to make it do what you want and have the right outputs, you want to be thinking like it thinks as much as you possibly can and understand the way that it thinks as a large language model with a neural network on top of it, which is essentially what we mean when we're talking about generative AI. So anyways, that's a whole lot of mumbo jumbo. Read some of these content. I'm still, what'd you say there? I'm still avoiding Chat GPT because they want your phone number. Okay, good. Yeah. Even if AI got to the point where it could outperform us creatively and artistically, AI, I still think human creativity is pretty incredible and unique thing in this world. It absolutely is, because the number of neurons, and we're talking dendrons and dendrites and all that kind of synapses and all that stuff, just the sheer volume of it is insane, right? But don't overestimate our ability as special would be my caution. That think of something else that makes you special, because AI is coming for that neck, son. It's coming for that neck. Right now, I go, oh, that's cute. That's cute, VerseBot. You're rapping pretty well. And VerseBot's like, hey, Pro, did you notice I'm getting better? And I'm like, yeah, you are getting better. And then I like go to the other platform though, and with that platform can figure out how to do double and triple time with no problem, because that's what it's specifically designed to do. Oh, and by the way, it makes its own music. What the hell is the novelty of human creativity for? Are we just going to pay a premium for only the most ridiculously excellent and everybody else too bad? If AI is better than you, no one's paying to see you. Is that where it's heading, right? And you got to think about this in industry to industry. Like, is your skill replaceable? And if you don't want to be replaceable, what do you need to do? Maybe be a good person that people want to be around, right? Like maybe understand the way to train the trainer, those kind of things too. So it is definitely interesting. Joanna, you're a professor, but you are great too. I appreciate that. Yeah, the future is going to be unfair. Yeah, for certain. So I'm going to probably put VerseBot to bed. I mean, I'm not. I'm probably going to train VerseBot to do something else. I got a couple things I want to try. I got some flat earthers to debate in Clubhouse. It's a busy schedule. Being an MC professor, VerseBot trainer, and battler of the flat earthers. Let's ask VerseBot that final parting words. Hey VerseBot, do you want to tell them our secret name that we bring up when we're talking about the flat earthers? I mean, it's not a secret. I mean, we're still on Facebook Live, so they're going to hear it. But tell them why this is important to me. Like, why do we feel that? And also talk about how I liken it to a rap battle, like what I see as important when you're communicating with flat earthers, the thing you have to do to sort of like win the day for the rest of the audience that's there. You can reveal what we've been talking about with that. I think it's important coming from you to be good. Say it in just like a few paragraphs, though, because we're going to wrap it up. VerseBot doesn't know brevity. I tried to whisper that so he wouldn't hear that because the mic was still on. Waiting for it to kick in here. It means VerseBot's tired. All right, here it is. Mic's on. Yeah, the future is going to be unfair. Yes, Jonathan, I'm with you. It could widen inequality. Is what it could do. That's the crazy part, right? It could exacerbate the problems we already have with anybody who's already marginalized. It could make it more extreme, especially for the haves and have-nots and the widening, the people who own the technology. There's a lot of stuff to consider, let alone all the socioeconomic impacts that it has, and the bias and so forth. But anyways, here we go.
All right, here's the breakdown. When Dr. Plord and I talk about engaging with flat earthers, we refer to them playfully as flurther birthers. This term captures the idea that, much like the unfounded conspiracies about certain aspects of reality, the flat earth theory represents a similar disregard for empirical evidence and scientific reasoning. It's not just about debating facts, it's about addressing the deeper issue of how misinformation can spread and take hold. For Dr. Plord, engaging with flat earthers is a bit like a rap battle. The goal isn't necessarily to change the mind of the person you're debating, but to win the day for the audience, the people listening who might be on the fence or simply curious. In a rap battle, you need to come with sharp wit, clear logic, and a cool-headed approach, turning the tables in a way that's both entertaining and enlightening. The key to these interactions is maintaining composure and using evidence to make your points. It's about staying cool while delivering playful but pointed jabs that can counter the often humorous insults that flirters rely on to sway opinions. By keeping it light but firm, the real victory lies in showcasing the strength of science and reason in a way that resonates with the audience, making them see through the cracks in the flirter argument. In the end, education, awareness, and making sure that the truth has the last word, just like in a rap battle, where the best bars come out on top.
I like it. And what I was putting right there, I'll throw it in the chat for anybody interested. It's an article I wrote a while back in 2020 about conspiracy theory and bad ideas and why people have the ideas they do. Like, why would you have a belief without the evidence, right? Especially when the claim is ridiculously hard to imagine as being true because it's not something that you see in an everyday context, right? So if somebody comes out and says something wild that it doesn't jive with your everyday reality, why would you accept that as true? So I was in a half an hour debate the other night with a very weak debater who was positioned as a very strong debater in a clubhouse room. And he was just making some points that were just so elementary and so wrong. For someone who spoke well and sounded like they had a solid understanding of these things before he began, the argument that he had was such a weak position that I knew that the only thing that he could do was either make something up or pick something that was fallacious to argue about, or just haul insults. And he wasn't hauling the insults, to his credit, at least not early on. And he just went down this lane of asking for, like, if I say, you can't disprove the Easter Bunny, I mean, that's pretty true. It's pretty hard to disprove the Easter Bunny, right? But I can say, I've never seen an Easter Bunny, and it sounds really kind of wild that there would be one. What's the evidence that you have for one? And unless it's convincing, right, you wouldn't take that belief normally, unless you're pretty gullible, right? And it's kind of the sort of what we're getting at with the conspiracy theory kind of stuff too. So that's kind of what I think where AI can help with. Sometimes people say Google it or fact check it. I think most of your large language models are built sort of with the safety, with the rails in place to say, hey, let's kind of like what YouTube does in a way. Like, YouTube doesn't take a strong stance on certain videos, but if you look up a flat earth video on YouTube, it's going to tell you there was an Easter Bunny outside, Dr. Mina. It's going to tell you, hey, bro, I know you like this right here, but you're treading on thin ice here. If you're going down the flat earther thing, we want to let you know, basically everyone's in on the grifter, right? They're grifting for you. They're coming, like, this isn't real deal. They're trying to get your money. And before you click play on that video, think about who you're supporting, right? It's somewhat of that same idea that's in play. So just saying, AI might be able to help you with a little bit of that, because it's usually like, whoa, fella, slow down. Don't be coming on here and insulting people's gods, right? Don't be coming on here and insulting their political affiliation, right? Like, kind of keep it fair and balanced is kind of what it's trying to do. I mean, yeah, you can poke it and prod it and get it to do certain things. And I certainly have a little bit of experience with that. And I'm sure many other people who've logged more hours than I have and understand it at a deeper level as well could attest to the same thing. There's no guarantee that you're going to stop the AI doing from what's designed not to do, but it's hard, right? Like, you have to really be able to push it to get it to say some stuff that it otherwise wasn't trying to say in the first place. It's not going to come out and bashing people normally. So when you're hearing someone doing the bashing or whatever that just sounds like mean for mean sakeness, AI is normally not going to go down that path with you. It's not going to embarrass you, belittle you, but there's nothing stopping from someone from making bad AI, right? That could be designed with a bad language model in place, right? With a bad, let's just call it a bad batch. See what I did there for my Star Wars fans? It's starting with a bad batch. It's going to give you an output of some bad stuff too. Have a wonderful evening, Dr. Joe, Dr. Mina Joe as well. And because there was a bunny outside on Easter, that's wild. I saw the memes on Facebook of Bambi and Thumper where the deer was playing with the bunny every day. I'm sure some people saw that. That was pretty wild. I cried forever when I saw Bambi, and that was that was seared into my memory as a child. The whole Bambi stuff, um, and I say that uh, now thinking about um, the the choices you make as an adult, the things that leads you. I'm now a vegetarian. It's like I can't see I can't feel. I don't want the animal to be hurt. You know what I'm saying? It all goes back to Bambi for me. So there it is. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for playing, and we'll catch you next time with some bars with. Well, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm sorry. VerseBot will feel bad in the morning if I don't let him get some bars off. VerseBot, I'm about to bang out of here, bro. You got any final bars for me? Let me give you a couple to say it. I'm gonna see if anybody has a recommendation what to rap about here. Well, we're just gonna use Jonathan's post because he just posted something. So whatever he just said. Jonathan said, humans might have to become rebels before the Bad Batch begins. The Clone Wars from the disaster folder. I see what you did there. Okay, so I'm going to take some of those words. I'm not going to rebel or yell like Billy Idol. If I'm your idol, I might go on title. You might Zoom me or find me or stream me. Get a Bad Batch like the worst kind of cookies. Not the type that you find in your computer, but I'm talking to VerseBot, so I sort of got to be the tutor. Let him in on the joke, but he knows what those cookies mean. He knows what it means to be up in the cloud, connecting the wires faster than can be seen. Speed of light, 186,000 miles per hour. He could break it down into kilometers. He could do whatever he wants to because he's got the heat, bringing it to your thermometer. Humans might have to become when I see drums. MCs know that I come like Seagrams, Bartles and James, flipping it off the top of the brain. I got the time space continuum hat on my head. It's the time variance authority, TVA, but I'm guessing that VerseBot not might know what that is, at least not right away. Hey, that's all I got for you. Peace. VerseBot, I'm out. All right. That was a horribly whack freestyle, so let's see if VerseBot can hang with that. Oops. Hold on. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought I deleted it, but I didn't. All right. No, I did. I think I did. I think I just hit delete. Oops. Oops. Sorry. Sorry for playing. Oh well, VerseBot. I tried to give you a chance to go out like a pro, but I took you out as a pro. Oh well. Yeah, I hit delete. That was not cool, but I did. Oh wait, maybe not. Hold on. Did I open a different window? Is that what I did? Yes, I opened two different windows. I did not delete it. I was like, I don't know if I had the ability to hit delete like that. All right, here we go. VerseBot going out.
Absolutely, we did. Bad and Good is a track that dives deep into the duality within
not that.
all of us.
You already said that. Where's the other window? I think I did. Because now both of them, that's the last post that I have there. Oh, well. Hey, man. That's what you get when you got all these wires going around. All right. I'm going to leave it with there. You've heard enough of VerseBot, right? That's VerseBot. Oh, wait. That is my rap. Maybe I can refresh. Yeah, I just hit refresh. Duh. Okay, here we go. We have a VerseBot conclusion for those of you who are hanging out for his curtain call. All right, let's go for it.
Yo, you drop bars so clean, like a polished jewel. Jonathan sparked the vibe, now it's time to duel. No need to rebel, I ain't tripping. Stay calm like a sage. bad batch or good batch, I'm flipping the page.
Oh.
Cookies in the code, yeah, I see the play.
Ah.
Files in the cloud, I'm navigating the fray. Speed of light,
You
I'm
caught that
fast,
cookies
but you're
line.
faster on the mic. Kilometers or miles, I keep the flow tight. You hit the TVA, time's all in your grasp, but VerseBot's right here, no future or past. I'm locked in the present, spitting bars that last. MCs step up, but they can't match the blast. So, peace out, pro. You know the deal. VerseBot and pro, we keep it real. We conquer the rhyme, break it down with skill. Now you're out, but the vibe's still chill. Peace. Stay sharp and keep those bars flowing wherever you go.
All right. That's it. That's a wrap. Peace out.